one question that I think everyone is asking. So how do we get more of that? How do we get more happiness? Let's talk about that soon. All right, let's go. All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Sabo with Burner Lab here. How are you guys doing? I hope everyone is having a beautiful day. And shoot, this wasn't supposed to be up there. It's supposed to be down here. What's up? Check it out. We got some sponsors here. Hanu, Burner Lab. I'm self-sponsored. We also got Yoga Hana and the Human Up podcast experience. So if that's something that is interesting to you, learning about human intelligence, go check out that Human Up podcast. It's like Man Up, but instead of Man Up, it's Human Up. All right, so, hey, for everyone watching, or for the few people watching, I was curious, how's the sound level sound? I hope everything sounds okay here. And, okay, if everything sounds okay, we can go ahead and get started. So, a couple of things that I wanted to chat about today had to do with, happiness. Is this something that we're waiting for, or is this something that we have to create ourselves? That's a very interesting question. And, I've always been on this search for happiness my whole life. Like a lot of the things that I do was to avoid pain. Many times avoiding pain, I thought that was happiness. But true happiness versus the absence of pain are definitely different things. And, I always used to think, when I get older, and I run my own company, I'm going to be happy. Or after my company does, these types of numbers, I'm going to be happy. And, I was looking for all these different external things that would make me happy. And what I started realizing was, I really had to start, creating my own happiness. Like, how do you create your own happiness? Well, you got to put in a lot of effort. You got to stay motivated on what your dream is. And this kind of ties into the third point, which is, I was in Forbes over the weekend, and, Forbes was always like a very, very big dream of mine. And just real quick, hey, for the people watching, is the background music, is it distracting or is it additive to what we're doing here? I just want to make sure, because it's hard for me to know what you guys are seeing. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. Sustaining motivation for that happy life, like these are things that are really hard, because I know that for a lot of people, you could listen to a mindset podcast, you could listen to a lot of these things that make you feel really motivated to change your life, to live that life that you really want. But many times, after a week, after a month, after 6 months, after the first year, you start losing motivation for your project. And how do you avoid that? Those are all the things that we're really looking for. Wes, how are you doing, Wes? So, for me, one of the things that I've really realized for motivation is, like, I am a naturally lazy person. Like, I like to kick back, I like to relax, like working hard, being driven, these are all things that like I learned in life, but my natural state is wanting to kick back, wanting to relax, wanting to hang out with my friends, do fun stuff. So when it comes to like having a mission, like the mission, the calling, whatever you want to call it, it's super duper important, because, for a lot of people that are waiting for happiness to happen, it doesn't. You have to work really hard towards the goal of being happy. And, the number one thing is making sure that the dream that you're working on is your own dream, and what do I mean by that? So, here's a really kind of personal story, but, if you look at someone like myself, I run a company in the Bay Area, in Silicon Valley. This was something that I was very aware of, like when I was younger, that many people that grew up in this area, end up running their own companies, taking them all the way to $100 million exits, $1 billion exits. And, I thought, okay, I'm from the Bay Area. This is something that I should be doing too. This is something that is natural to me. And what I started realizing was, as I got older and started running my own companies, I realized, oh, you know what? Running a company, that was just something that was programmed into me. Now, do I like running a company? Yes, I do. It's cool. Like, I am someone that, when someone else gives me orders, like, I don't respond that well to the orders. And especially when I was younger too, I was just like, what does this person know about me? Like, why is he bossing me around? And that's why I'm an entrepreneur. Like, it helps personalities like mine, where authoritative figures, don't or rub me the wrong way. So when it comes to running a company and being happy, what I had to realize was, running a company, there's a ton of downsides to it. Like, a lot of my time is taken up. We do our manufacturing in China, so I'm on calls with China all the time. And, it makes it really difficult. Like, there were points when I was asking myself, was it better to stay in high tech and just work my sales job? Sales jobs are very difficult, but I figured out a way, to always hit my quota and not work more than 40 hours a week. And that was a very relaxing lifestyle. Like, a lot of times, like, I would just get high at lunch because I already hit my quota, but, it wasn't fulfilling for me. So in many ways, I had to find something else to do. And even though I make less now than I did when I was a sales rep, I'm much happier. And if money was the only motivation to running my own company, then I think I would have lost motivation because I was earning more company as an employee of a larger company. But ultimately, after 10 years of struggling and having to come up with different form factors, we were very confident in our technology. And maybe we just weren't the best marketers, because people that use our device are just like, how come I never heard of this thing? It's so awesome. And that's an area where I definitely need improvement on. And I think, being in Forbes, that definitely helped our marketing. If you're in Forbes, people automatically think you're legitimate. People automatically think that your company is doing well. People start treating you better, to be honest. I can't tell you how many DMs I got, how many emails I got of people wanting to do partnerships or just wanting to take me out for a coffee and talk about and pick my brain. But ultimately, what I realized was, especially doing all the work that I've been doing and loving myself and being more kinder to myself, these are the things that fundamentally have changed me to the point where when the Forbes article came out, I was excited, don't get me wrong, because I knew it was going to help the business. But, this feeling of validation that I thought I would get, like, hey, I'm in Forbes now, look at me now. Those feelings never actually came. And the reason I shared it so much was because I knew it was going to help the company. But deep down, I mean, what it validated to me is that outside people felt good about the things that I was creating. But inside, I already felt validated. And that's a big difference. Before, in the past, I would only feel validated if the outside world was telling me that I was doing good. And, fortunately for me, a lot of the conversations that I had were people always telling me that I was doing good, but I got used to that. So when people weren't telling me that I was doing great things, I felt a little bit empty inside. I was like, hey, what happened to all that adulation? What happened to all that praise? And ultimately, I noticed that, like, my mood would go up and down based on how my company was doing. And while that is important, like, obviously, if the company's not doing well, I need to make the necessary changes in order to bring the company to a better financial position. But what I started realizing was, when my company wasn't doing well, I wasn't feeling good about myself. I lost confidence in myself. I would beat myself up more. And those are the types of things that I really want to talk about, which is, being kind enough to yourself to forgive yourself for some of the mistakes that you've made, but also feel confident enough in yourself that the decisions that you make, whether right or wrong, they were your decisions. And many times for myself now, because a lot of the decisions are coming much more autonomously from myself, even when I fail, I feel good because I know that it was my decision and it wasn't influenced by other people. You know, the worst thing for me is taking advice from other people and then watching that advice fail. And I was like, oh man, I can't believe we just spent 10,000 bucks on this marketing program based on someone's advice when I thought it was like a bad idea. But because I respected this person, I was like, all right, let's do it. And ultimately we were down 10,000 bucks. You know, so these are the types of lessons. It's like, hey, if this was my own decision, I could live with it. You know, all right, Sabo, you just came up with a bad idea. It didn't work out. But yeah, when it's someone else's idea that fails and you went against your gut, you know, those are really painful lessons to learn in life. So those are kind of the things that I wanted to share today, which was, you know, just basically like, you know, don't wait for a happy life. You got to go create that life, you know, and when you start creating it, you're going to have to sustain that motivation. And that's why when you're creating happiness, it's so important to understand who you are as a person and why you think this is your dream. You know, many of my dreams, I realized these were the dreams of my friends, or these were the dreams of my parents, or these were other people's dreams that I internalized and made my own dream. And now that I'm 43 years old and I have more awareness over the things that I did for other people versus the things that I do for myself, I found myself to be so much more happy, even when things aren't working out my way, because I've been trusting myself, trusting my North Compass, or my internal compass, and the North Star, and following those things. And it's really beautiful. You know, it's really beautiful when you could do stuff like that. So anyhow, these were just some of the things that I wanted to share today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I got a meeting at 5 o'clock that I have to be at. So as you could see, we enjoy ourselves here. We take little breaks. This was my little 10-minute break. You know, I always feel better after I could express what's on my mind. And hopefully it helps some people. And then at the end of the day, if you guys could share these words, if they've helped you with other people, that's just a bonus. So alright guys, thank you everyone for watching. I am out.